if you had to choose between Halifax and Toronto, Ontario
Mhm.
versus Nova Scotia, what would you
Mhm.
pick? All right. How long have you lived in Ontario?
Majority of my life.
Yeah, so which is majority of her life is over 20 years. And then
Mhm.
Halifax, how long have you lived in Halifax?
1 year.
1 year?
Mhm.
Okay. So what what made you choose to move to Halifax?
Oh, because well, my parents were selling their house, the one that I grew up in, and I had no house anymore. Like I had no room. I all my stuff was in the house. So I had to like figure out, do I pay for storage or where do I bring all my stuff? And at that time it was during the pandemic. So um I could work from anywhere and I was in school, like I'm still in school, so I could study from anywhere. So then I was like, oh, where's like a good place to go? And I always wanted to be by the ocean. And so I was like, Vancouver is too busy. Like it's still like city loud, even though there's ocean and it's beautiful. So then I was like, I'll go to the east because I've never been here before. I've never even seen it or anything. So I was like, might as well give it a try.
And how did you find like a place to rent while living here in Ontario and preparing your
Mhm.
life to move to Halifax? How did you find a place to live in?
Okay, so I actually looked online and it's quite far, so I can't see the place. So I looked for a few places and I told them like I was in Ontario if they can give me like a video tour of the place. And so I did a few of those and then I finally found one that was like I guess close to downtown. Like I didn't know where downtown was when I was looking. So it said about 5 to 7 minute drive. So it seemed close, but when I got here, it wasn't as close as I thought. But anyways, he gave me a video tour, and then I liked it, I guess. Oh, and I have a dog, and a lot of places don't allow dogs, so I had to just kind of pick one. And then thank God, like I have a friend here that lives here, that's lived here for 2 years or whatever. So she went to go see the place and meet the person and make sure it was like legit and stuff. So then she told me like, yeah, it's good and the person like is not going to scam you for money or whatever. And then we signed and then that's how it happened.
Thank you. And what do they look for when they're trying to find a tenant for someone in Halifax? Do they ask for you for pay stubs or what do they require?
Yeah, I think that's anywhere you rent. If it's like a legit place, unless it's someone's house and they are the owner and they're living there, they could be more lenient, I guess, but they always ask for your credit check. They do a credit check on your account or whatever, and then they do, um, yeah, they ask for pay stubs or like your work employment letter, like how if you're full time or how many hours you get and all that, and then um, they ask for reference, so like either from like a manager or from a family friend or another person that you've ever rented from. They'll ask for that. And then they ask for first and last rent. First and last, you have to be able to pay first and last. And I think that's the gist of it. Sometimes they ask for more stuff, but mhm.
That's that's good to know. And then, when you say credit check, right? How do they do
Mhm.
that? Do you give them your bank account number? Then they just like look at it, or do you
No,
like
you have
find that from your bank?
no, you have it. Well, I don't know how it's like for people who are moving from another country because I don't know. But for Canadians, you have like a SIN number. You have like, it's basically like an ID that you're born with or whatever. You get it when you're Canadian. And then that is connected to like everything. It's connected to like your credit cards. It's connected to your phone bills. It's connected to your jobs, everything. Everything is like documented on that. So they know like if you pay your bills, if you missed a bill, if you're late for a bill, things like that.
So it's safe to give it to the guy renting out their place, like the social security number?
I mean, it's not always safe.
Yeah,
you just have
like
to
I'm
trust that
wondering.
they won't use it. Yeah, it's not always safe. That's why you have to really know that it's a real person, not trying to steal because your whole identity's in there, right? Like your name, your address, your birth date, like your bank, everything is attached to that. So when you trust them, you just trust them. I don't know. There's lots of scammers out there though. So
Yeah, there are. Thanks, Janice. So disclaimer, do your research first. Don't go around giving your social security number to anyone, right? Thank you. And then how much would a flight be from Toronto to Halifax or Nova Scotia? Or your Halifax specifically? And then go on.
A flight. So I don't know. I've had friends who found round trips for like $50, $60. It's only a 2-hour flight, so they found ones that were very cheap. I think it's getting a little bit busy and popular, so it may be like $100 round trip. 150, I don't know. Yeah.
Cool. And sorry about the background noise, that's my daughter. But you drove from Toronto to Halifax, right? How many hours is that? And like, if someone was gonna drive their whole life from Toronto to Halifax, what tips could you give them?
So with stops, with like filling up gas and eating and stuff, it takes about 20 if you just go straight. Like you only stop for gas and just like a little bit of eating, not stopping anywhere along the way. What tips would I give them? Drive slow. Don't rush. There's lots of deer and like moose, so be careful. What kind of tips? I don't know.
Like, is it cold? Or like,
no.
Do they need to bring blankets to sleep on the way? Are there rest stops?
Like I do always bring pillows and blankets anyway, so yeah, I would suggest to bring that to be comfy.
Thank
tips,
you. And what are some good places they can eat on the way? 20 hours, right? Would you recommend doing it with a friend?
Yeah, like I've done it 3 times on my own, so I don't mind on my own or with a friend. Like,
do you sleep on the way or all throughout?
There was one time I stopped to sleep, but the other times I just drove straight.
Okay, that's good. Do you like sleep like in pit stops? I know like in Toronto there's like 401, right? And then they have like the center like Esso and all of this stuff, and you can can you just go? Is there a lot of those?
Not a lot, so you have to kind of like see when the next one is. It might be 2 hours away or 3 hours away. So you just have to see when the next one is, because a lot of truckers stop there too, right? So if they want to rest, they park there, and yeah, there's food and there's gas, and you just pull over there and just sleep in the car.
Thank you. In the car, yeah, not like under a tree. How are the people in Halifax? Are they friendly? What are they like?
It's super nice. It reminds me a lot so you and I, we met in Cambridge. Just reminds me of Cambridge, old time Cambridge. Everyone was just nice, like simple, nice.
Thank you. So that's good to know. Now let's transition over to Toronto. You used
Mhm.
to rent in Toronto, you worked in the hospitals. How did you find places to rent in Toronto?
Like I said, my situations was always different because I knew someone who like owned a house or a condo or something like that. So they would rent out their room or like part of the condo. So that's how I would uh, find a place. There was a couple of times actually I found something online. No,
Yeah,
only
how did you
once.
find that blue house, the one where we went to?
That
Was
was
that your friend's
the
house?
yeah, well, that was my first place that I ever moved. Um, and there was a girl that I worked with, and she lived there, and they were renting out a part of that house. So I think I paid
So that's pretty
$300, like
I think that's cool.
325, and
Yeah,
that was like right downtown, like
yeah.
so. And then
That's good
the
to know.
one,
So, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, the one I found with Christy, like right across the street from the hospital, it was like a nice condo right downtown. I only paid a few $100s there too, but I I found her actually online. Yeah, online. That everywhere else kind of was someone I knew or something like that.
Oh, that's good. And you probably didn't bring Louis with you at that time, right? Or was Louis
No,
living with you? So Louis is our dog. So is it easier to find a place without a dog versus a place with a dog?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
I think a lot of places now in Toronto they allow dogs.
Hmm.
I'm not sure. It's been a while. Yeah.
Okay, cool. How are the people in Toronto compared to the ones in Halifax?
I don't like Toronto. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It's just very, I think, individualistic or something like that. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's very,
Well, I know when we first started talking, when you first moved to Halifax, you were
mhm,
surprised how slow it was compared to Toronto.
mhm.
Do you still believe that today? Like, is Toronto very still more fast paced compared to Halifax, or has it changed?
I mean, because I haven't been back for a long time, like for the year, and that was during COVID. So I just went back like a couple months ago. So when I went back, it didn't seem so busy. Maybe because it's COVID, I don't know. But it wasn't like super fast, but people are very definitely like, you don't say hi, you don't really open the door for each other. Like, they definitely like once in a while they'll let you in, when you're driving. They're always like in a rush. I don't know, it's different.
That's cool. Good to know. So if you guys like more fast paced, maybe Toronto, but it slowed down during COVID, might pick back up like after COVID, we don't know. But in
Mhm.
Halifax, it's kind of like more chill. Is that what you're saying? More relaxed, or is it also fast paced? Go, go, go.
No, it's definitely not fast paced. And I don't know, I've only been back for 4 days, right? So this is literally my
Oh
fourth
yeah,
day
that's a
back
good.
after
Yeah,
like
you
so many
haven't
months.
really lived in Halifax for super duper long, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's still kind of even driving, like people were like waiting far, far away for me to like cross the road or like
Far, far away.
they yeah,
Wow.
they're like way far and they're like they see me walking and they just stop and they just wait. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so nice. Or like if I'm driving, like they
In
always let
Toronto,
you go
they'll try to see how
first.
close they can get to you
Yeah.
before they'll let you cross. Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool. Um,
hmm
how much is gas in Halifax when you
Oh,
like usually when you look at
I
the
haven't
number?
filled yet. I haven't filled yet, but I did see it. It was like 170 something. So it's like a few cents more expensive than I remember in Toronto it was 160, maybe 4 or 5. So it's like 5 cents more, like
Oh, it's more
maybe 10
expensive in
cents more.
Halifax. Did not expect
It's still
that.
expensive. Yeah.
Okay. How much are groceries in Halifax?
I don't know. I haven't even gone to a grocery store.
You get free food
Like,
there too. Who buys your groceries, girl?
no, I haven't gone. I don't remember.
Well,
Like it's been
before,
4
like,
months, right?
yeah.
I
Well,
don't
before.
know. I don't know.
No.
I literally don't know. Like I don't know how much a bread was. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can't.
That's fair.
Ask me in like 2 weeks or something. I'll go.
Okay.
Gone yet. Yeah.
How much is dog
I'm actually gonna
food
go.
in Halifax? Because I know you
I'm
buy
literally.
food for Louis there.
Yeah,
Do you
it's
buy
about the
food for
same.
Louis? Huh?
Yeah, but his is like, I literally told Michelle like I'm going to the grocery store right after we record because I haven't gone
Yeah.
yet. So,
Oh wow.
dog food, it's the same. From what I remember, because I buy a giant bag, and then it lasts like months for Louis. So I bought one in Ontario like before I left. So I'll see how much it is here. It might be like $5 more or something. I don't know.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So those were mostly the questions that people had for more of like the comparison. But now for you personally, if you had to choose between Halifax and Toronto, Ontario versus Nova Scotia, what would you pick?
If I had a choice to live forever here,
Yeah.
definitely. Like,
Okay.
I just, even if it's by myself forever, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, there's something just like so peaceful about it. Maybe because it's slow, or maybe because it reminds me of my childhood. I don't know. But like it's because we grew up in like a small town, right? Compared to Toronto, Cambridge is very small. So yeah, definitely here. But if God calls me back, I will listen, obey. It's like he literally calls me to like what's the biggest city in the world? I don't even know. I would go,
That's true. You do like the water, you like the province, you like nature. So, and when you are in Halifax, you chose a location similar to that. I feel like in Ontario, you can have that too. It just depends on where you choose to live. Obviously, we're talking Toronto. Toronto is a city versus like a little like suburban place where we grew up. So I get it. And then what are the three things you love about Toronto and 3 things you love about Halifax?
How about I start with Halifax first, because I think it's easier. The ocean, definitely. Just looking at the water, it's not the same as Ontario. Even in Ontario, you don't have it because the water's different. It's lake water. And it's like mucky and like there's nothing in the water. But here, like you look down and there's like seashells and like starfish and like jellyfish and seaweed. I don't know. I just love it. I don't know. It's so different. Seals, right? Like bobbing their heads, like, Yeah. So I definitely love that. The ocean. Another thing I love about Halifax, it's just peaceful. I can't explain it. It's just maybe because it's slow. I don't know. It's peaceful. And another thing, just the nature. Maybe it's the nature that makes it peaceful. Maybe that's why. Yeah. Is that 3 things or is that 2 things all bunched up in one? Okay, and then Toronto. What do I love about Toronto? Honestly, nothing. Literally nothing.
Yeah.
Let me think though.
Okay. What are 3 practical things for newcomers to Canada that they can, like if they have a ticket to Toronto, right? 3 things is easy to get a job, more job opportunities if you apply and stuff. Yeah. since Janice can't find any, I'll just give you guys 3 possible things. It's okay, Janice. That's your true, honest opinion. That's fine. But yeah, like if you guys are going to Toronto, if you are Filipino, I'm talking for the Filipino community. There's a lot of Filipinos gonna be watching this channel. So basically, there's a Filipino community in Toronto, so you can always get connected to that. So that's good. Job opportunities, and the third thing is CN Tower and tourist spots. Here, I feel like, and you can also watch the Raptors game and the basketball game, which my husband loves because he's coming here. But if you're not into that stuff, then maybe choose Halifax for nature, or Milton too has a lot of nature stuff. So depends on your personality too, right? But yeah, so that's it. Anyways, thank you so much for providing us your insight, your education, your wisdom on our channel here. And I hope you have an amazing day, Janice.